Hello and welcome to Pathological. Today is one of our true crime news days. We're covering two cases in the news this week. First, convicted killer Bryan Kohberger is seeking to withdraw his guilty plea in the murders of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle in a case known as the Idaho 2022 college student murders. And Lindsay Clancy's trial began, the mother responsible for the murders of her 3 children in an alleged episode of postpartum psychosis. So let's get into it.
Let's go. Okay, this week, what did we read, watch, all those things?
I don't have a lot to contribute
Me
this
neither,
week.
actually.
I really don't. There's not much that I've been reading or... actually last week I wanted to mention that I watched the Netflix documentary, what's it called? Toxic Love Story, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you mentioned that to me, but
Yeah, and then I
have
forgot
not.
to bring it up.
Okay. I haven't
Toxic
watched that
Love
one,
Story.
so I don't even know anything about it. Can you give like a brief?
Honestly, I feel like you just have to go in blind. It's one of those.
You're gonna do it like that? Like bring it up and then be like,
I know. I feel like
I don't have anything to say.
this is like an ad for Netflix. Like you just got to go watch it to see for yourself.
So much help.
I know. No, but it's genuinely just one of those documentaries. It's an hour and a half. It's one episode. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like I really could not predict. I had no idea what was going to happen next. Every single time I thought I knew what was happening, there's just like some plot twist where I'm like, okay.
Record scratch.
Yeah, every time I'm like, okay, this is obviously the person that did this and is guilty. The literal next second, I'm like, actually, it wasn't them. It was someone else. And then it just keeps going back and forth between, there's like 3 different people that is... It's
okay, that's
crazy.
Definitely going to keep your attention.
Yeah, it's basically like there's a woman who gets arrested for setting up her ex-boyfriend's current girlfriend who is pregnant. That's kind of a spoiler that I'm using air quotes. To be raped. Yeah, which is like really, but she's doing it through...
She hires a hit person, but rapist.
No, she's hiring someone from, not hiring, she's looking on Craigslist for people that are interested in those types of like meetups, and then giving the address of her ex-boyfriend's house, who, like where the current girlfriend lives.
Okay.
To like send the man there to like rape her.
Oh, okay. And is this guy under the understanding that she's into it? Like she's...
Yeah. No, that's
okay.
yeah. It's like going on,
it's
on the dark web to find people. It's like...
But Craigslist is the dark web.
Very
like
weird and crazy. But there are people out there, that are trying to meet up in like such a weird way.
Is it relatively recent? When did it actually happen?
That's a great question. I don't know.
You
I think
can
it's
look it up
relatively recent. But one of the craziest parts of this is there's one of the women that goes to jail, that goes to prison for this for, I want to say like 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
I'm like forgetting already. I'm like, this is showing my retention, my retention skills are low.
Our brains are just marinating in stress all day, every day with beautiful little kids. So
yes.
Yeah,
but she goes to prison for multiple months for this crime, and then she's involved with the documentary and like telling her story, and then we learned that she wasn't even the one that did it and was like falsely imprisoned, which is really sad and crazy.
Okay.
But there was so much evidence that looked like it was her, which is like,
oh my gosh. Especially in today, we've talked about this, how like digital footprint and forensics are so advanced, and like cell phone pings are so advanced. So that's kind of crazy that someone could be falsely
I know, it's actually like disturbing.
It is disturbing.
Yeah, but all of that kind of doesn't make a ton of sense unless you've seen it. But anyways, Yeah.
I tried to follow along.
It's that's the
I'm
thing
like
is
that.
while I'm watching, I had to pause it several times to go back and be like, wait, what? That's insane. So that's
So it's
a
not a
recommendation.
casual
No,
watch.
it's only an hour and a half, so it's like you can sit and watch it, but it was
Don't be scrolling
crazy.
on your phone while
No, you
watching
can't.
this show.
I
You
was.
have to lock
I
in.
had to like go back. It was longer than an hour and a half for me because I was trying to do other things, and I was like, wait a second, what's happening here?
You know what? I kind of love something that grabs your attention so fully that there's not any ability for you to be multitasking.
Yeah.
Because I feel like more and more, at least I multitask when I have something on in the background. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like folding laundry and checking text messages and emails, and there's something on my. I saw this meme one time where it's like, I spend all day long looking at my medium-sized screen to then go home and put something on my big screen while scrolling my little screen. And I was like, oh, dang it.
That is me.
My screen time is egregious as an adult. And meanwhile, I'm like trying to keep my children's screen time to a minimum.
I know.
So, anyways.
Yeah, we're all hypocrites.
I know.
It's
I
fine.
felt very, I felt like that was really, I don't know, indicting of my screen time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would recommend that?
Yeah.
Watch.
Yes.
As you're speaking and you're saying it like took you on all sorts of rides, you know, you couldn't tell where it was going. It reminded me of the really good documentary. It's about the catfish, the woman who catfished.
Oh my gosh.
And this is a spoiler.
What is that one called?
Yeah. Well, you look it up for me while I.
Yeah, the mom.
premise is So I'm spoiling it absolutely, but it came out like I want to say 2 years ago, 3 years ago on Netflix. It's a documentary. And it ends up being
Unknown Number, the high school catfish.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
It
what a
ends up
crazy.
being someone they are consistently interviewing throughout the documentary, and I'm like,
yeah.
huh?
She like admits to doing it. It's so crazy.
It's such. It takes you on such a ride, and I was absolutely shocked when they reveal that it's her, because I'm like. She was being interviewed as if she was recounting this horrible event that happened in all of their lives that just ruined all these families' lives. And then it was her.
And it's like, oh, also, I was actually the one doing it.
I know.
What?
So then I'm like, oh, absolutely psychopathy or sociopathy happening here.
She
like,
was
hands down, this woman is crazy.
Yeah.
So.
I honestly thought that was the road that I was going down when they introduced, I think her name's Monica.
You're like, trying to figure out.
Yeah,
who
I'm
it
like,
is, of
so
course.
she went to prison for this, and then now they're interviewing her, and I'm like, oh, this
So clearly
is
she's out
the
of
same
prison.
type of concept, and then you find out that it was not her.
Yeah, so we talked last episode that I finished yesteryear, and we had a great discussion on that, and then talked about how I am currently reading a book called Say Nothing, and it's by Patrick Radden Keefe. It is about the IRA, so the Irish Republican. Darn, what does the A stand for? Something.
Association.
Yeah.
No.
IRA stands for. Anyways, so individual retirement arrangement. Thank you for nothing, Google. Dang it. Irish. Republican Army. Cool.
Okay.
So it's about the paramilitary. So, like, you know, it's the IRA, and they're just, like, taking justice into their own hands, and they abduct this woman. She has 10 kids, and they just abduct her. And, you know, spoiler alert, but, like, it's on the book jacket of the book. So they tell you that she gets abducted and murdered. So I don't know how she gets murdered yet, or the whole trail leading to that, but at this point in the book, she has been abducted, and I don't know that I want to recommend this book yet. I had previously said, like, oh, Patrick Radden Keefe's style of writing is so impressive. He's weaving, like, narrative along with non-fictional information, so it feels like reading historical fiction. However, it is all factual, but it's kind of getting really boring. And maybe I'm gonna come back to this episode and, like, absolutely hate that I said that, because maybe it'll pick back up. And also, saying history is boring is, like, kind of counter to how I feel normally. But the way he's recounting a lot of details is not really drawing me in. He's giving, like, too much information about too many people that my brain can't contain it all. And I'm just like, now my brain, I feel like, is just being like, like, as he's giving us new information, I'm at full capacity. Don't tell me anything else, you know, just, like, get to the main story. So
yeah, I think that happens a lot. But some of the best books that I've read have kind of started off great, and then the middle lags, and then it ends really well. So
That's
I guess
true.
fingers crossed.
I know.
Are you someone that will quit books.
Yes. I will quit books. And then I usually regret it because I hear about how it ended well. Like they pulled it together and it was good. But I'm like, I've already invested 10 hours into listening to this book and
Yeah.
it's 20 hours. I've got 10 more to
Oh
go.
my
Like, are you kidding
gosh.
me? So I'm like, also, we've established that we both have young children and it's like, time is money and
Yeah.
I don't, I only have so much time to spend on things. So
Yeah.
is this how I want to be spending my time?
I used to never quit books, to like DNF them is what it's called, like do not finish.
Oh,
Yeah,
that sounds
yeah.
so dirty. I like
I know.
that. It's good. It's like,
I know. I wanted to say that and ask you that, but I didn't know if you would know
do
that.
you dare DNF?
Yeah,
Because it almost sounds like DTF, which is like, anyways.
That's a totally different thing. But
That's true. If you were asking me that, I would.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, it has that same ring to it.
Yeah, no, but I used to never I was not a quitter, and now I'm like such a quitter. If I do not like it and it's not grabbing my attention so quick, I'm like, all right, what's next? I cannot. I don't have time for this.
And because there was no TV show or documentary this week that really drew my attention, I did watch the Idaho college student murders.
Oh, I started
on Hulu.
Oh,
I'd never seen the Hulu one. There's one on Netflix.
There's a new one on Netflix.
Spoiler alert, today I'm going to be covering the news that's been in the news this week about Bryan Kohberger.
Yeah.
So I was like kind of brushing up on that. But that's only one episode and it's like an hour. So other than that, I was watching Friends because that is my anxiety reducing show. It is like wrapping a huge weighted blanket around me and just I fall asleep to watching Friends quite often. You can tell
It's
I've
your
had a rough
comfort show.
week.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm falling asleep. Yeah.
I was thinking, during the fall, I always pick a show that's like got a bunch of seasons and then cozy so that I can, because it starts getting dark sooner at night. And I just want to like be home and just watching TV more.
I kind of love/hate the phrase rot, like you rot in bed, but it's
bed
relatable.
rotting.
Yeah, bed rotting.
Yeah, I love bed rotting.
Okay,
But
so what
I
are
was
some of the ones you've done?
Well, I usually will watch like Gilmore Girls or like something like that.
That's
but
such an autumn show.
I know. Yeah. It's such a good one to watch in the fall.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe I should do a rewatch of Friends just to like
catch, like actually be able to understand half of my
well,
references.
I've seen it. I have seen it. It's just been a couple of years. I watched it, I think my first year of college, and I watched it with my friend Natalie.
It's such a great show.
I know.
We have to cut her name out.
No. Shout out to Natalie.
Yeah, she'll be famous. As if
I'll
we're
know
famous
if
right
I'll know if you're watching that.
Yeah, seriously. If you're keeping up. Okay. What else was I going to say? There's the comfort shows for the fall. I've done that with Parks and Rec multiple times. I've done that with The Office. I do it with Friends, but not just during the winter months. I do it literally all year long. And I've probably seen all 10 seasons. Like, I started in high school. Yeah, I'm a mega fan. I like wear Friends t-shirts. That's how much I'm willing to admit that like this is who I am. And also sometimes I'll like float a quote from Friends just out in a gathering with friends or whatever.
Who else is as big of a fan of me?
Yeah,
as
it's like
me?
to catch like who's a real fan and who's a fake fan of Friends. So
well, yeah, I was thinking about maybe doing a Friends rewatch as my fall show. So that would be so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character?
Honestly, it bounces around between all of them. There are times when I really feel like I identify with Phoebe. Like, she's just so weird. And I, like, aspire to being that level of weird and being okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be weird, and then 10 minutes later, I'll be like, why did I say that? And I'm like, be like Phoebe. Like, channel Phoebe and just say it and move on, you know? So I like her for that reason. And then I love Chandler because he's just so hilarious, and it comes from such a dark place sometimes, like his traumatic childhood. And then I really relate to Monica because I am an organized freak
You are.
of
I was
nature.
about to say that I would guess Monica is who you relate
when
to
she's
the
like
most. Yeah.
using a tiny vacuum to vacuum her vacuum, and then she's like, and I wish I had another vacuum that was even smaller to vacuum this one. I'm like, oh, that level of like, she's so neurotic, and so am I. So, yeah. And then Russ. I think my least favorite is probably Rachel, which is kind of mean of me, but I still like her.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't even know.
Maybe I just am put off by her from the very beginning of the show because she's like the spoiled rich girl. And I'm like, ugh. I don't know. I don't know why.
No, they all have great character development,
They
though.
do.
That's
true.
They
You
all
know
have
what
great
show
arcs.
has the best that I've seen, I think, is Parks and Rec. Like, they all really change who they are over time while keeping their core qualities the same. I think they do a really good job of developing them.
Speaking of characters that we relate to, I was telling you the other day that one time one of my coworkers told me, and it was before I had ever seen Parks and Rec, they're like, you remind me of April Ludgate from Parks and Rec. And I was like, oh.
Like, is constantly, like, looking at you under her eyebrows.
Yeah, and like, okay. And then I was thinking in my head that it was Rashida Jones' character. It was Anne. I was like, oh, wow, that's, like, so nice. She seems really,
versus, like, she's her
sweet and, like, beautiful.
Arch nemesis, April
And I'm
Ludgate.
like, wait, I started watching. I'm like, wait, her? I'm like, wait, I'm April?
It's kind of a flex. April's really cool.
I don't know. That was just a weird.
In a creepy way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, wait, that's
and like
interesting.
April Ludgate, not talking about the actress who she also seems very cool, but April Ludgate.
Why am I blanking on her name?
Plaza. Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza. I knew that. Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza seems a little bit like April Ludgate, like she's playing herself to some degree.
Yeah.
But something I really love about April Ludgate is she is just like dark and macabre and just like says something so creepy and uncomfortable, and it's just like, what?
It's just like the monotone way that she speaks is like kind of how I talk.
How you talk. You have accused yourself of speaking monotone, but I don't think it's as bad as you think.
I think when I'm having a conversation with you, I'm like laughing and
more
but I don't know. If I don't think about it or like
I bring life to you.
You do. I think I can hear it sometimes. I'll like respond to things. I'm like, wow, I just sounded so bored and so annoyed, but that's not how I feel at all.
You deliver things. You have great delivery in a way that I definitely admire and like wish I don't usually have dry humor. I'm not very sarcastic. I'm not very dry. I think it's because I was raised in China and like sarcasm is not a thing that they really did in China. They do in Taiwan though, which is really interesting. Like learning how to be sarcastic in a foreign language is such an interesting and hard skill. And I learned it in Taiwan, but not in China. And so I feel like I got really kind of screwed over in my sense of humor from a young age because you don't use sarcasm with Chinese people. And it's not like I was speaking Chinese all day, every day. I went to a foreign school with lots of, like, everybody was English speaking. But I think that, like, really...
You don't understand sarcasm?
I do, but I just need it explained sometimes. Okay? Just explain your jokes. That makes them better. Everybody knows that. See, I can be sarcastic.
Yeah, that was really good.
Should we move on?
We should probably move on.
We'll inevitably throw ourselves on tangents, so should we get on track?
Yeah.
For anyone wondering, that was probably about 30 minutes. Now you can start listening to the cases.
We might need
newscaster voices.
Yes, we should.
Are you ready? I'm going to give you a brief recap of the 2022 Idaho college student murders. Okay, I also feel like we should have gotten like all of our giggles out because now is where it starts to get like...
Now we have to be serious. I feel like we're going to have a hard time being super serious.
I know,
right now.
but this one especially deserves like our respect because it was the atrocious murder of 4 college students that attended Idaho, the University of Idaho. And this was recent. This was 4 years ago, 2022. The reason I'm covering this as like our true crime news that's happening this week is because the man that has been charged with their murders, Bryan Kohberger, is trying to go back on his plea. He pled guilty.
Yes.
And now he's trying to go back on that plea, take it back and get a new trial, which is gnarly. So I'm going to give you a brief recap of like what even happened back in 2022 so that we're all like in the same, sorry, I feel like I don't know how to interact around a microphone. So
You're a hand talker?
I am, and I'm constantly at risk of like punching the freaking mic arm.
I've noticed, you've mentioned like how hard it is for you to not touch the microphone. I'm like, I think I'm just like
on my hands
like this the whole time because I'm scared of touching the microphone.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Is that a scene from Talladega Nights? There's some movie where he's just like really funny with his hands. I think it's from that. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
You're laughing like you haven't seen it.
No, I've seen it.
Prove it.
How?
I don't know. Quote it right now.
I can't.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Okay. Then you haven't seen it. Okay.
We had to be serious.
2022 Idaho student murders. I got this from the Wikipedia page that is entitled 2022 Idaho student murders, and it says, in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. They were fatally stabbed in an off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho. Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin, who were dating at the time, were discovered in their second-floor bedroom, with Kernodle lying on the floor and Chapin in bed. Madison Mogen and Kaylee Gonsalves were found in the single bed in Mogen's room on the 3rd floor. All 4 had been stabbed to death. The victims were not gagged or restrained, and none had been sexually assaulted. So that's just giving us some factual information to orient us. At the time of the murders, Bryan Kohberger was a PhD student completing his first semester at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington, which is kind of just over the border into Washington. So it's actually only 8 miles west of Moscow, Idaho. And they say it Moscow, it seems like, instead of Moscow, like the capital of Russia.
Okay.
And by the way, he had previously earned his bachelor's degree in psychology in 2020, and then his master's degree in criminal justice in June 2022.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks that he has a psychology degree, a criminal justice degree, and he was pursuing even higher levels of education in that field.
I think, was it like forensics too?
Yeah, I think so. And in my mind, I'm like, did he commit these murders because he was like curious? That's what I immediately thought back in 2022 when I first heard about this case and they first arrested him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in August 2022, Kohberger moved to Pullman, Washington to begin his PhD program in criminology. There we go. Criminology and criminal justice at Washington State University. Okay, at the end of December 2022, so just a few months after, 1 month after the murders had been committed, because they were committed November 13th, and this is now December 2022. They were fairly certain it was him. So they followed him, FBI agents followed him to his family home in Pennsylvania. He was there for Christmas, and FBI agents saw him cleaning his white Hyundai Elantra from top to bottom. I don't know why I said Hyundai. He disposed...
the Y. Hyundai.
I was just reading it phonetically. He ends up disposing of some trash in his parents' outdoor trash can after cleaning out his car, and the FBI agents later collect that, take a DNA sample, run it through their machine, and are able to find that 99.999 repeating percent. It's a match to the DNA collected from a knife sheath that is found at the crime scene in Moscow, Idaho. And so after this DNA collected from the trash can in Pennsylvania and the knife sheath are a 99.99% match, there's no doubt that he's the owner. They have strong enough evidence for probable cause, and the next morning after finding this, December 30th, a SWAT team of 50 law enforcement officers surrounds the home of the parents of Bryan Kohberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. And it's at 3 a.m. I immediately was like, oh, I wonder if SWAT teams do that on purpose to like catch people really off guard because they don't want you to be able to run. Pretty smart strategy, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
So he is then arrested for the murders of Madison Mogen. I'm going to say their names a bunch of times because I don't want his name to be the only one remembered from this case.
Yes.
Like these 4 children, young adults with their lives ahead of them, like he took their lives from them, their future. So they're what matter most in this story. Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. I know I've been saying his name a few different ways. Sorry. It is Chapin, Ethan Chapin. They end up impounding his white Hyundai Elantra from his parents' home and gather further evidence. And then by a few years later, so this is just last summer, is when he is officially sentenced. Okay, so July 2nd, 2025. Prosecutors initially sought the death penalty, but on that date, Kohberger enters a plea of guilty to all charges brought against him as part of a deal to avoid the death penalty. So we see this in other like serial murder cases where they are so fine killing other people, but they're like terrified of the death penalty and they don't want to die for their crimes. It's like so cowardly. And we see this with him too. So he entered a plea of guilty because they made a deal with him that if he did, he wouldn't get the death penalty. 3 weeks later, he is officially sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences in prison without the possibility of parole, thank goodness, plus 10 years for burglary into the home of these college students. So now this week, what's really interesting is he is actually trying to get a new trial. And I looked at a few different articles. The one I kind of liked the most was from The Guardian. And so I'll read you some quotes from that article. It was released on Sunday, August 2nd, which is today, just a few hours ago.
Okay.
The title of the article is He's a Narcissist. Could Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger win a new trial? Convicted killer seeks to withdraw guilty plea and go to trial, but that could put death penalty sentence back in play. So this quote from the Guardian article that was posted today, one of the first things they say is, could Bryan Kohberger, convicted 13 months ago of the murder of 4 University of Idaho students, now find himself on death row? That's one potential outcome of a perplexing petition he filed just last week, when he claimed he was misled by his defense attorneys into pleading guilty. A new trial could grant the wishes of family members who actually hope to see the 31-year-old doctoral criminology student convicted by a jury in open court and sentenced to death. Apparently, a lot of the family really was like, death penalty.
I mean,
for this guy. I get it.
Yeah.
The more I've researched into the death penalty, by the way, just since we've started this podcast a few months ago, I think I've kind of changed my opinion a little bit because it is so expensive to keep these horrible criminals alive and just fulfilling these life sentences. But actually, even when they do get a death sentence, they can sit on death row for decades.
Yeah, they could die before they even
and they do
make it. Yeah.
And I think that is also so wasteful. So I do feel like it is warranted to have kind of an overhaul of the justice system in that way across the United States and say, hey, if they get the death penalty, let's follow through with that quickly because it's taxpayer dollars that are getting wasted here.
Yeah.
Although this is the other side of the argument where there are definitely times where someone has been wrongfully convicted of a crime and given the death penalty. And so they're sitting on death row for decades and they did not commit the crime. They're innocent. The next quote that I have, the judge asked so many times to make sure that Bryan knew what he was admitting to, Bryan Kohberger, last summer. And so here are some quotes. This is from last August 2025. Last July 2nd, 2025. I want to make sure that your plea is given voluntarily, Judge Stephen Hippler told Kohberger in court. I want to make sure that you actually committed the crimes to which you are pleading guilty, because I don't want you to plead guilty to a crime that you did not commit. Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty? Judge Hippler asked Kohberger at the hearing twice while reading the specific murder charges tied to each of the 4 victims. Yes, comes Kohberger's response. So now he's requesting to withdraw that guilty plea, and in a ruling on Wednesday, just Wednesday of this week, Hippler actually granted Kohberger's request for a new court-appointed counsel. So he gets a new lawyer, he gets a new defense attorney, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to get a new trial just yet. He had written a handwritten petition seeking to withdraw the guilty plea, entered in exchange for prosecutors dropping the death penalty. He now alleges that his attorneys misrepresented death row to him. They fabricated a story about their horrific experience, or the horrific experience that he could have on death row, touring the portion of the state's maximum security prison, and they claimed that he was advised to lie. He claims he was advised to lie and told that he would gain a legal victory by entering a false plea. So he's saying his guilty plea was false and that he was kind of like strong-armed into that.
And that's just so hard to believe, knowing what he has a full degree, multiple degrees in criminal justice.
Yeah. He knows so much about the system
That's
that I'm
hard to
sure
believe.
what he's doing is realizing I don't have parole. There's no chance of getting parole. So my only other chance to gain control here of this
True.
narrative is to change my plea and see if on the off chance they grant me a new trial, I can get a new trial and I can get the death penalty.
Yeah.
He's not trying to go free. Because then you also are like, what's the motive here? Does he just want to make these families suffer more by bringing his name back into the headlines and get more attention?
Honestly, I was about to say that. I feel like it's the narcissist inside of him that's like, I want to be back in the spotlight again, and this is an opportunity to do that.
You're right. People have already forgotten about me.
Yeah.
Also, they sentenced me to 4 life sentences and a burglary sentence, and I now have no control, and my life is just this forevermore. And in prison, so much of your free agency options are taken away, rightfully so. And so I wonder if he's just like bored and needs control back.
Yeah.
Narcissists, and if he really is one, I do hope that they can convince him to. And he has a psychology major, so he knows a lot about psychology and narcissistic personality disorder, but I hope that he will agree to being tested for that and he can be officially diagnosed with NPD, because it does certainly seem like he has that.
Yeah. And I feel like it's so hard because it's so hard to like see him and just be like, oh, he's the creepiest looking guy you've ever seen.
Oh my gosh,
like
his bushy
obviously
eyebrows
he
and,
did this. He's such an example of like having no life behind his eyes. He's so
yes,
creepy.
like just dead.
I
dead in
know.
the
It's
eyes.
hard to like be like, okay, I'm trying not to just look at him and just be like, oh, he's 100% a creepy murdering like freak.
Yeah, but when the evidence is that
But
airtight,
unfortunately, he just does look like that.
yeah, he fits the stereotype.
Yeah.
He gives me Ted Bundy vibes.
Yeah.
Like a little bit, like could be seen by some as mildly attractive, but also is like really creepy looking. You don't think of him as mildly attractive at all. I actually don't, but I've heard other people and like
Okay.
on Reddit, there's some people that think he is. Like he has like strong jawline, good
Okay,
bone structure. He's
sure.
very tall, bushy eyebrows, like good head of hair. And I'm like, okay, like I can see it, but he's such a horrific person
Oh,
that
I've like the second I saw him, I was like, okay, this creep.
I know.
Like he is so creepy.
And he chose like the fact that Ethan Chapin, I can't remember how to say that properly, and I don't want to be disrespectful. But the fact that Ethan Chapin, it's Chapin, was there was just coincidence. He really wanted to just prey upon this home of 5 college girls. Like he is such a stereotype. He's not unique at all. Like I want his name to go away forever.
Have you seen? I think it's Kaylee how do you say her?
Gonsalves.
Gonsalves.
Mhm.
Her sister's like impact statement that she made to Bryan Kohberger.
Yes, but I don't have that in my notes. Do you
Oh my gosh!
have
Here,
that somewhere?
I think. Let me pull up. She did. It was pretty long, so I won't read the whole thing.
The family's victim impact statements are all really gut-wrenching, and I feel like any opportunity that a family has to face the murderer of their family member, that must just be such a high emotional, I don't know, and vulnerable state to be in as the family members.
Yeah. Oh, she did such a great job in her impact statement. She researched like how can I cut as deep as possible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she went in on him and like
Good.
how can I make a narcissist like
Suffer.
yes.
Mhm.
I won't read the whole thing because it's really long, but this part I'm seeing where it's kind of what we're talking about. Like the narcissistic part of him is just dying inside, that he's fading into the background.
Just in a few years, he'll be completely anonymous and no one will have cared.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. So she said, let's try and take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation, you revealed it, and it's in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence, and it is written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win, you just exposed yourself as the coward you are. You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everyone else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking, and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it. All while tweaked out on heroin.
Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know either, actually.
She might be saying that because he just looks like
Yeah, he looks like a junkie.
All while tweaked out on heroin. Lurking in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light.
Okay. Back to the heroin thing, there's a part of me that wonders if she was like, I'm just going to throw out unfactual things because he has no opportunity to defend himself. We have the last word. We've already heard from him and he's done talking. So I'm just going to throw out all these things and it doesn't matter if they're true or not, but it's going to piss him off.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have control over the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what narcissists want the most, control over how people perceive them, over truth. They spin their own version of truth and want everyone to accept that as the truth. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, just the last part that she said.
Yeah.
No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. No one thinks you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you begging in a courtroom for scraps.
Yes.
She did so good.
Oh my gosh. I was about to use a millennial or a Gen Z phrase, and then I was like, oh no, I'm going to use it wrong. Mogged?
No, she didn't. No, she sure. Yeah, she was mogging. She was mogging Bryan Kohberger.
Okay.
But she really, she wanted to cut deep.
Mm-hmm. I think she did. Mm-hmm. That's really well said. Amen to what she said.
Yeah, you should watch the whole thing if you haven't seen it.
Okay. I do kind of think eventually we should do a deep dive on this case.
I think so too. This can be a full...
I want to know a lot more about the students too, their backgrounds.
Yeah, watching the documentary, it's really upsetting because they were so young.
21.
They all seemed just really full of life and joy, and they were just in an exciting part of life, going to college and figuring things out. That's such a...
And did he just want to siphon that out of them because he had so little himself? I have a quote toward the end of that article, and then I'll jump back to where we were. But in this Guardian article, they talk about how we may never know the why, what his motive was for committing these 4 gruesome murders. In the article, it says, even if Kohberger can prove that leaving his conviction intact would result in a miscarriage of justice and he receives a new trial, the families of the victims may get no closer to ever understanding why he stole into the house in Moscow and killed 4 people. In Kohberger's case, no motive was put forward by prosecutors, and he was not required to offer one as part of his plea. Rachel Tolles, a psychologist that was involved in analyzing the case, says that he may never be forthcoming because there may not have been one. He may have had no true motive. He does not possess the true introspection to say why he did it. I kind of love that. He dumb. He doesn't know his own thoughts. Something that sets us apart from just reptiles and other mammals and just any other animal is that we can examine our own thoughts.
Yes.
And if he is incapable of that, he's just as just dumb and existing there. Okay, animals aren't dumb, but they just exist. They don't they don't think about their thoughts.
Yeah.
And that makes us human. And so I kind of love that was her dig at him. He does not possess the true introspection to say why he did it. If you can't examine your thoughts, you're stupid.
The only thing I want to see out of another trial of Bryan Kohberger is just the opportunity for people to just tear him apart.
Me too.
Yeah.
And more
if he
evidence
is
that
granted
just makes
another
it that
trial.
much more airtight.
Yeah. He thinks he's going to outsmart the system again.
Yeah. The last part of that quote, she says, he could give any answer to that question, what was your motive? But she cautioned, that's what all mass murderers tend to do. They will taunt you. Even if they know the answer to their motive, they won't give it away because that's giving up power and control.
Yeah.
And they want you to want something from them.
Yeah. And he has so little power and control now.
So let's not even want that. That's kind of my call for us and
let's just
anybody listening.
Not give him the attention that he wants.
Yeah. Who cares what his motive was?
It doesn't matter at this point. It's what he did, and no one wants to hear why he's
because
why
his
he was
answer could be also like very offensive. Like I just don't even want to hear from him.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Yep.
Yes.
I liked that she said that about him. Earlier on in the article, we hear a little bit more from her, and I actually really like the way that she describes things. So let me scroll to that part of my notes. The attorney for the family of 21-year-old victim Kaylee Gonsalves, a woman named Shannon Gray, refers to Bryan Kohberger as the mosquito you just can't seem to swat. He's a narcissist who thinks he's the smartest. Love it. They're actually kind of thrilled that he has asked to change his plea and could go into another trial. And you and I were just talking about this. The families would have preferred a death penalty trial where the evidence against Kohberger would have been laid out in court. Instead, Kohberger received exactly what he asked for, a deal that shortened the trial and didn't lay out all those details in court, and it spared his life. And know this, she says, he hates that life and wants another chance to roll the dice.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's so true. He's bored. He hates his life in prison. He just wants to see if he can have another trial and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's just, maybe that does happen. Maybe he does get another trial. And if it's a death penalty trial, if that's on the table, then they will have a long drawn out trial where they can put every tiny bit of evidence on the stand. They can have more witnesses come forward. So the families and their attorney's attitude is like, bring it on. Like, fine, which I love. And by the way, it's estimated that his case has cost Idaho taxpayers more than $8 million. Oh. Each one of these trials costs so much money because they have a public defendant, or they have a public defense attorney helping the defendant, of which $5.5 million covered the expense of the public defense that he now rejects as incompetent. Like maybe they bumbled his case is what he's trying to say. The petition, if it goes forward, would cost a further $2 million approximately to Idaho taxpayers. So it's like unfortunate if it goes forward and they honor they acquiesce his request.
I guess, we'll just have to see. So, if it does go to trial, we'll definitely...
It'll cost more, but maybe he'll get the death penalty.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to do updates on the case or on the trial if he does end up going back to trial.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to say was that the quotes I have from Rachel Tolles, a clinical and forensic psychologist specializing in extreme violence and serial homicide. Rachel Tolles said this week, "Attention is currency." Amen, sister. That's absolutely true. Tolles suggests that Kohberger may be stuck in the same obsessive loop that we've seen so many other serial murderers become stuck in, thinking that they can outsmart everyone, like you said, by committing the perfect crime, and then when they get caught, they're pissed by that. She says now that he's in jail, he's probably telling himself he can outsmart people with a new trial and win.
Yeah.
By seeking a new trial, he's trying to assert control. He's no longer letting the prosecution define the ending. He no longer wants to let his attorneys define his strategy. He's filing for a new motion or for a motion to restore his agency. In jail, you have a lot of time to ruminate. He's bored. He wants to reclaim the narrative. Even though this may be torturing the families, it may also be giving them hope that if the guilty plea is off the table, the death penalty is back on. So kind of a repeat of a few things that we said, but that's kind of what I have for this. And my final thoughts on this was he took the lives away from these 4 individuals and there's a lot of talk about like freedom and control and like free agency. And I do really feel like the goal of a government should be to preserve the agency of people as much as possible. Like, let's let people be free agents because that's kind of the point of life. To exercise your free agency and learn from it, learn from your mistakes to the extent that they can't do like mass harm on other people. Mm-hmm. So he breached that kind of like social contract that I think is necessary for people to live in harmony. He breached that. And in a society where we're community, social-based society, all humans are, sorry, that I said that really dumb. Like, society is made up of social groups, and he was kind of on the outside of social groups. And he infiltrated this one and murdered them, and therefore he should not be allowed those freedoms anymore because he breached that contract.
Yeah.
That kind of tacit contract
Yes.
of like, we don't harm each other in society. That's not how a good, healthy society works. And so he should be put away for life. Like, he shouldn't be allowed to get back out. So luckily, I think that's so unlikely.
There's no way. I think they have way too much evidence
Yeah, they
that
do.
he did it, that I don't think he would be.
They have cell phone
Let out.
pings on cell phone towers that triangulate him in the
Yeah.
location at the time that the murders must have taken place. And they have forensic evidence with DNA. They have a lot of evidence.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my thoughts. And
Hate him.
yeah, he's also potentially caused psychological damage that will last for decades for these family members. And the roommates that were in the home and did not get killed. Survivor's guilt
yeah.
that they're dealing with is probably immense.
Oh, of course.
And so PTSD, like generalized anxiety disorder, is probably something they now grapple with, like potentially like actual major depressive disorder.
There's also there's a big group of people on the internet that think that the roommates did it.
Yeah. A lot of times, whoever in their circle survives them, survives the victims,
which is like,
looked
so
at
unfair.
first.
Yeah. They also have to deal with that
Yeah.
through the rest of their lives, too.
Which I know from like a law enforcement standpoint, strategically, it makes sense to look at the people closest to them, their family and friends.
I mean, that's where you start for sure.
But with the mountain of evidence we have against Kohberger, it doesn't make sense to look at the roommate.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve. I'm not even going to say her name because nobody needs to be blaming her for anything. And like I said, she's probably dealing with some really messy psychological traumas from that.
Of course.
So,
yeah.
Should we go on to yours?
Yeah, let's move on to this is the trial of Lindsay Clancy.
Okay.
So Lindsay Clancy, the Massachusetts mother, faces life in prison for the strangulation deaths of her 3 young children, 5-year-old Cora, 3-year-old Dawson, and 8-month-old Callan.
Do we think she had like really bad postpartum depression?
So yes, the whole case is about postpartum psychosis.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So investigators say that after sending her now ex-husband Patrick out of the house to pick up takeout food and medicine for their children on the evening of January 24th, 2023, Lindsay Clancy strangled the children with exercise bands in the basement before slitting her own arms and neck and jumping from the 2nd-story bedroom window in an attempted suicide, leaving her paralyzed from the waist down.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's now paralyzed.
I just
in a
had
wheelchair.
read headlines.
Yeah.
I didn't know any details.
Yeah. In the weeks leading up to this tragedy, Lindsay had reportedly told Patrick that she was experiencing disturbing, intrusive thoughts and hearing voices that she believed were telling her to harm her children.
Okay.
So her trial began this week, and the jury's not really trying to reach a consensus on whether or not she did this, but more should she be held criminally responsible, or was this because she was experiencing an episode of like extreme postpartum psychosis.
Okay. In which case she wouldn't go to prison. She'd instead go to like a mental institution.
Yes.
Because she wasn't deemed like mentally sound at the time that she committed the murders.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was clearly struggling postpartum after the birth of their youngest baby, Callan. He was 8 months old.
So sad.
But
oh my
according-
gosh, I'm
I
just
know.
so devastated that the kids are dead. And she told her husband about this, but you don't know how seriously to take things sometimes.
Yeah.
Not everyone that says they're experiencing like
I know.
ideas about harming their child. In fact, it's actually relatively normal for your brain. And this is like really jarring, actually. But I was so grateful to find this out when I experienced it after the birth of my 3rd child, especially. Experiencing thoughts of harming your newborn child is actually quite normal. And they do think that it's the mother's brain responding to like the worst case scenarios. It's like projecting the worst case scenarios of like your baby dying to you so that you
Yeah.
then realize how much you need to protect this child.
Yeah.
However, it's really jarring as a human being to experience that and have these thoughts of like harming yourself or your child. And then to research online and see like, oh, it's quote unquote normal. That sucks. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's normal. I don't want
No.
to experience it.
No.
Yeah.
There's so much about postpartum.
But I do want people to know that that is actually quite common for women who have just given birth or within the first 2 years of life. It takes about 2 years for your whole body and brain to recover from having a baby. So anyways, sorry to
And I
cut
think
you off
you're
there,
like
but
forever chemically changed after pregnancy too. So like like sucks to say, but like you might not ever fully
exactly the same.
recover and or be the exact person you were before.
They call it matrescence. It's like adolescence, but for a mother. And you go through this complete overhaul of who you are.
Yeah.
Your identity
Yeah.
shifts. Like there's just as kind of formative as adolescence is and who you are, and it lasts for years. Matrescence is very similar for a mother who has just given birth.
Yeah.
And as you become a mother for the very first time, that begins matrescence, and it lasts your whole childbearing years as you're having more and more children.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is. Also, one thing that is even more sad about this case is she was a labor and delivery nurse. So she knew what to be looking for, like the signs to be looking for too.
But when it's happening in your own brain versus seeing it happen in others, it's a very different experience.
Yeah. So she, like I said, was clearly, really struggling. She mentioned that she struggled postpartum with depression with her first two. So we knew she struggled with her mental health postpartum with her first two, and then it just really spiraled with her third child. So her mental health began to worsen significantly after she was prescribed medication in October 2022 and continued to deteriorate in the months that followed.
Do you know what medication she was prescribed?
She was on a roller coaster. So from October 2022 to mid-January, right before she committed the murders of her children, she sought out 4 different medical professionals at 2 different hospitals where they adjusted, increased, or tapered her off of 11 different medications.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Who signed off on that? These 4 medical professionals? Oh my gosh. I will just admit that I am medicated for general anxiety disorder and generalized anxiety disorder, so GAD. And a lot of people are these days, and that stuff is gnarly. Getting onto it and then tapering off of it, and I've switched medications. You can get brain zaps, which feels like your brain is literally being electrocuted. You can feel like tingling sensations and like tremors in your arms. You can feel so psychotic, like you feel like you're not yourself, and it's all the effects of coming onto or off of the drug. 11 times?
Yeah.
And what was that span of time? Remind me.
2.5 months. Yeah. So I'm going to go actually through a quick timeline.
That has to be illegal.
I think that they're really digging into the doctors, and I think it was like nurse practitioners
Yeah, she was not getting the help that she needed.
I know, she was begging for help too, which is just horrible.
Yeah, I feel like she sought out the necessary help and got really bad advice.
Yeah. So I'll just start. So mid-October 2022, she started Zoloft at 25 milligrams. Later, doubled to 50 milligrams. Okay. I'm not a psychiatrist or a doctor or anything, but from what I saw, that was like someone compared it on the internet from going from a baby's dose to an adult dose, like
oh wow,
really quickly.
That jump is that significant? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true though. I'm not a doctor. October 20th, 2022. Ativan and Benadryl were added to the medication regime.
Benadryl to sleep? Was she having?
She was having insomnia,
which will make you hallucinate.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
November 16th, 2022. Oh gosh, now I have to read all these medications. Trazodone was prescribed at up to 150 milligrams. November 2020 or 21st to the 25th, that week, Prozac was switched to or added at a dosage of 10 milligrams. Okay. November 25th, Ambien, Remeron, and Klonopin were added to the medication regimen.
Ambien is to sleep, right?
I think I said regime earlier. I'm pretty sure that's
regimen.
Like a military regime. I meant to say I'm reading regimen.
I actually used to switch those all the time. Regimen versus regime.
Yeah.
But regime is a military term
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been talking about Hitler a lot.
Yeah. No, I actually think that was in my head. I was like, wait, that didn't sound right when I said it.
It's medicinal regimen.
Regimen. My bad. Okay.
You're fine. No, you're fine.
Anyway.
All the time.
November, common
misconception.
Common confusion.
Malapropism. 2 words that sound similar.
Yeah. November 29th through, and then she was on this through January 3rd, is Seroquel.
I know that one.
Yeah. This is where her husband says that it was the start of the
end. Like the beginning of the end.
Yeah, the downward spiral for her. Like, I mean, she clearly was already struggling, but this was...
You know what this tells me, though? Those dates are so freaking close together.
Yes.
That didn't even give her time to get onto the medication fully and, like, regulate to that new feeling. And I bet you, as a labor and delivery nurse, she was, like, begging them, like, I know medications, and this is not working, and I'm not okay.
She kept a really detailed journal of the medications she was taking, too, that they showed in
I was
as
hoping
evidence.
you would just say journal, like her thoughts, because the medication is helpful, too, of course.
Yeah, she was keeping track of it, though. As a nurse, like, that's what's hard about this is, like, she knows about medication and, like, especially in her profession. So it's just...
Which maybe was to her detriment in this case. You know what's weird? Parallel to the Bryan Kohberger case we just talked about, he knew so much about that world that it led him to, it's only kind of a parallel. It led him into thinking that he could get away with a crime because he knew so much about criminal justice and forensics and stuff.
Yeah.
And then for her, she knows so much about medication that she feels like she can take the lead in this case and medicate herself. But you can't. You have to have someone else.
I know. And I kind of wonder if maybe she was going to different doctors to just try and...
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're probably not...
They're
specific
not
doctor that I already... Yeah. That I just talked to isn't going to increase my dose, probably. I'm going to go to a different doctor. I don't know. Yeah.
I'll get it however I want.
Yeah.
However I can.
Yeah. And then I'll just finish out the timeline really quick. So December 6th, the Valium was added. And then... mid-December 22, Lamictal?
I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Was introduced as a mood stabilizer.
Okay.
And then January 3rd, trazodone was adjusted or prescribed following a visit during which the staff advised tapering off of Seroquel and benzos. I'm not going to try to say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so 11 different medications in such a short amount of time just adjusted, and that is going to put anyone into a dark mental health space.
Yeah. It's just going to, there's no benchmark anymore. Like, you can't compare, you can't fully understand what effects each medication had on her because it takes between usually 4 to 6 weeks to even get adjusted.
Yeah, no, that wasn't even enough time for her to know if these were actually effective.
I have
in a lot
many
of
questions
cases
that I'm sure you won't have the answer to, but I'm just like asking them out loud. Like,
someone maybe listening will know.
Yeah, why all those different medications? I'm sure they have the 4 to 6 week. Like, I'm forgetting the word here, but like uptake time, like the window of time where you're supposed to be on it before you can tell what it will really do for you, how it affects your brain, how you feel on it. And then there's a taper off period of time. And one of those medications, any single one of them you only would have had time to do an experiment on one of those in that 2.5 month span. And so if these 4 doctors, you know, of course they didn't, it seems presumable that they did not know about the other doctors also prescribing her things at the same time. But isn't there like a database? Maybe there's not.
I don't know.
No, there's not.
I don't know.
There isn't a universal database because your medical records get sent between doctors and it like all stays with you. And I'm sure there's some HIPAA laws here where, yeah, like she knew they didn't have to be sharing between them.
Yeah.
And between the pharmacies that are fulfilling these prescriptions. Man.
I know. So alongside just this crazy roller coaster of medication that she's on for these 2.5 months, there were some other warning signs that were concerning. So Lindsay reportedly started sleeping in the basement. She said, and then eventually switched to where her husband Patrick was sleeping in the basement because she just felt like if maybe because the two older kids would be getting up in the night. And so she's like, you take the monitor, go to the basement so that you can listen for them and help them at night. And then I can just have the new baby. And like that will maybe be less disruption in the night. So she was really struggling with insomnia was like a big part of the.
Not only insomnia, but the children waking up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Her older children were waking up?
Yeah. I mean, they're 5 and 3.
Yeah, that can be normal.
Yeah. So if they wake up, like she's telling her husband, you handle that. I'm going to stay in
that was
our
always
bedroom.
My arrangement with Jordan. Like,
I think that's actually pretty normal.
Yeah. You should only have to handle the newborn if you just given birth.
I mean, that's like warning sign. I think that is relatively normal just outside of like she was struggling really badly with insomnia. And that was like one of her ways of trying to like remedy the situation. So there was that. And then there were some weird searches on the shared, I think, tablet or laptop between her and her husband about methods of suicide and methods of murder.
Oh, okay.
So
were they discovered after the incident? Or
yes.
Before?
Okay. Yeah. And she this whole time was telling her husband like multiple times and even once in front of her mom and her husband. So her mom was like a witness to this too, that she was having these intrusive thoughts that were scaring her. So she actually was in a multi-day stay in a locked psychiatric ward in early
I was actually going to ask if they
January.
Did that.
Yeah, so they did do that, but they said that she seemed to improve over the time she was there and then was released.
Multi-day? Do you know how many days?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did she request to be released is my next question, or did they...
I don't know. I feel like she was really like, help me. Please, someone help me. So I don't know that she would have been the one to be like, okay, get me out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, but I can't imagine those places are wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think there were times when I was postpartum when I was like, I just want to go away for a full week and have nobody talk to me or touch me or need anything from me because I'm only getting like 3 hours of sleep at a time. I feel like I'm going crazy. I can tell I'm a bit explosive with my family and I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Like, can I please just disappear for a week? And mine never got to this place, of course, but it definitely got to a place where I was like, I can't be what everyone around me needs me to be, and I need to just disappear.
Yeah.
And so I can relate in some ways to some degree with what she must have been going through.
Yeah. So she was really struggling. Another thing that was kind of to me, this is a red flag. I feel like this was casually mentioned by one of the by the prosecution that she ran a 5K 5 days postpartum.
Oh, no.
Like, that's like a really early sign of like manic behavior.
Yeah, you're still like wearing a diaper.
I think that they brought it up too to be like, oh, look how healthy she is.
I don't care.
No
woman. It's
not a normal thing to do.
6 weeks because you have stitches
She's
that
probably
you're
still
gonna
bleeding.
Yeah. 5 days?
That's not a sane thing to do.
No, your pelvis is still horribly displaced from being like jello and molding around the baby coming out of your body.
No, so I feel like that was like some old man trying to be like, look how healthy she was.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, that's crazy.
Only people that have given birth can make comments, please.
What? 5 days. That's
absolutely not okay.
I mean, she was clearly like struggling from the very beginning of the...
Who
with the
let
newborn.
her. This is her third child, so it's not like they didn't know what postpartum is like and the 6-week rule of no exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how fit you are. You take those 6 weeks because your body deserves them to repair.
Yeah.
And your mind deserves laying in bed and resting and not getting up. It is not heroic to get up and do things right after giving birth.
You're doing yourself more of a disservice
Yeah.
because you're not allowing yourself the time to recover.
And if the world wants to like congratulate and celebrate women that don't take those 6 weeks, like the world is wrong and don't listen to that.
True.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
You take those 6 weeks because you are a champion who just brought a human life into the world, and you take 6 weeks to repair.
Yeah. So all this was going on. Meanwhile, her husband, the next section that I have notes written on is, I put the title as husband sus? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Okay, I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been some conspiracies and some speculation that maybe he is somehow responsible and like framed her for these murders.
Ooh.
We know his alibi though is legitimized.
Okay.
He was not home at the time of the murders of the children. He was.
So it's not him.
It wasn't
He didn't
him
commit the murders.
But I'm seeing people like with like conspiracies that was he drugging her? Was he encouraging her to take these medications and like knowing that she was continuing to like deteriorate?
Okay.
And then I saw some comments that were like maybe the voices that she was hearing were her husband. I don't know, trying to like.
Okay, that one seems a little far out there, but
I'm like, we're kind of getting into like
we're reaching here now.
Frida McFadden novel. We're getting into like some, I don't know. These conspiracies are getting a little bit far-fetched, but there are some things that are a little weird with the husband. So
just the fact that he's supposed to be her advocate while she's recovering postpartum. He's supposed to be the one of sound mind, advocating for her and helping her make smart medical decisions. And it seems like he clearly didn't do that. Like, clearly there was nobody in her camp saying, let's not change your medications 11 times in 2.5 months.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And he's testifying that he was aware of the medications that she was taking. So, I mean, I don't think any adult would
place some blame on him then.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
He's a full-grown adult, and they've had 2 children.
Yeah.
Then he knows the process of this.
And that she had struggled before, so that was
I was just going to say
part of it.
Her mental health struggles after each child, and we're not going to just jump around medications.
Yeah. He testified at one point that Lindsay had told him that her intrusive thoughts were her just being like overly worried about something bad happening to the kids. Like she was saying, I just feel like something bad's going to happen to them. Something bad is going to happen to them. But later in a testimony, I think he was kind of trying to insinuate that he didn't know she was thinking of harming the kids.
Okay.
But then later he does testify that she told him that the intrusive thoughts that she was thinking were about harming their children. So it's like a little bit of an inconsistency there that I noticed while watching his testimony.
Okay. Yeah, he is almost like not sure how honest he should be about the intrusive thoughts and how much she disclosed to him because he's worried that the fact that he didn't report this or get her more help will make him look
bad.
Yep. And complicit somehow.
Yeah. And then one of the searches on their shared tablet, I mentioned that there were searches on it with about suicide methods and murder methods. So one of the searches, about suicide, they linked back to him.
Okay.
He had been searching up a country artist he was interested in at the time that commits suicide. And he was researching, like, they said that they think it was like he was looking at his Wikipedia and you can click on the hyperlinks and then it went to like the suicide method of this country artist.
Okay.
So her defense is actually doing a great job, I think. They're like really thorough.
Digging at everything.
They're kind of going in on the husband, like pretty.
Yeah. I mean, it's their job.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They have a clear motive, and
they're trying to make him look bad right now.
Their clear motive is to exonerate him, and the best way is to place blame, like shift people's perception of her being the murderer and place it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because someone murdered these children. And so I'm a little bit skeptical of that simply because I know the defense attorney, that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're really good at their job, they're going to find someone else and try and make it as airtight as possible.
Mm-hmm. One thing that is interesting is, so right after the suicide method search about this country artist, 3 minutes later, Lindsay's Facebook on that same computer was logged in. And so they were asking if he was the one that logged into her Facebook. Like maybe, I don't know for what nefarious intention that would be, but he says that he did not do that.
Did he cop to being the one researching the country artist?
I think he kind of got caught in that. Okay. He was like, I probably did do that. But also this was 4 years ago at this point where he's like, true. I don't know.
So then 3 minutes later when she gets logged in, it's likely the same person that was using the tablet.
Yeah, so they're...
presumably him.
Yeah, that was a little weird. But also I'm with him where he's like, I don't know. I don't remember what I was doing on my computer randomly researching something.
On this day 3 years ago.
Yeah, so they're trying to make it maybe seem more nefarious than it was. But anyways, so that was like one thing that was a little strange.
Okay.
And then another thing is he mentions that he previously traveled for work pre-COVID times, stopped during the pandemic, and then took one trip to New York for 2 nights in November 2022. So this is...
while she was in the midst of all of this. Oh, geez. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And so this was, in the middle
of... dates in November?
I didn't write down that. Okay. I just wrote mid-2022 at some point. He left her alone for 2 nights with their kids, and this is after she had already told him, I'm not okay. Not okay. I'm having these intrusive thoughts about harming our children.
And you mentioned the dates of when her medication was changing, and it was like November...
It was October to January, so this is like...
I remember there was November 22nd was one of the dates, and so if he's gone during that time... Ugh.
Yeah, so that was... I mean, they're going in on him as like... negligent here, leaving.
You knew she was struggling.
You knew she was struggling. She told you she was thinking about harming your children. If your spouse came to you and told you that, I would not feel comfortable leaving them alone for multiple nights. It's like they're already struggling with postpartum, and then I'm going to leave her alone with the kids on top of all of that.
You tell your boss, I'm sorry, there's something really serious going on in my family. I can't go. You don't go on a business trip.
Yeah, and then the last thing that is a little sus about the husband is he got remarried 4 months later and has a new baby.
Oh.
And the woman that he remarried is from New York.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Was he having an affair? We're still looking into that.
We're still not sure. I think probably. Okay. And I think she probably was, on top of all of this, probably feeling like a huge rift in her marriage.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's
because you said ex-husband at the very beginning, and I was like, hold on, this wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
when did he file for divorce? And I'm assuming it's him.
I'm assuming it was right after finding her with their kids. I'm assuming I would also.
Yeah.
File for divorce right after that.
Wow, that... Okay, so it was January of 2023 that she committed the murders. Okay, and if he got married 4 months after that event, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's so insane.
He's like, okay, I'm moving on.
And then was the baby 9 months after the wedding?
I actually don't know how old the baby is.
Okay. Just making sure that we know that this other woman was not pregnant before.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
I think they would that would have been part of the line of questioning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I want to do a full deep dive on this.
I know. I think we should once everything is out and we know
more
everything. I think we should do a deep dive on this because it's really
Yikes.
Crazy. Yeah.
That was a crazy, good job. That was a really crazy detail to sneak in there at the end. And it just kind of changes the way I'm looking at a lot of things.
I know. Yeah. So state prosecutors are arguing that Lindsay acted deliberately, and they're claiming that she meticulously planned these killings, calculating her timeline by sending her husband out for specific errands, plus like the Google searches of murder methods. But her defense team is claiming that she should not be held criminally responsible due to her severe postpartum psychosis. Her attorney stated that she suffered from severe bipolar disorder and auditory hallucinations that commanded her to kill the children and herself.
Do you know who said that she has bipolar disorder?
I think she got diagnosed with it because they're stating that as like fact.
Huh. Okay, that's something I would want to look into more.
Something really sad that's like making me feel emotional right now is that the voices were telling her like, you need to kill the children so that you can kill yourself. Like, you can't kill yourself. You can't leave them, which is like really horrible. I think a lot of people that struggle with mental illness postpartum, it's more like I don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job, so like I don't want to be here. They could have someone better in their life to take care of them, but the way she was experiencing the psychosis was like, you need to take them away so that you can take your own life, like take their lives so that you can take your own.
Like, don't leave any loose threads, like do it, quote unquote, like finish the job or, okay. I kind of hate that, but I can, that actually seems like a real thought that someone going through psychosis could, it seems like a logical thought that could be believable and
I
that
believe
she could
that
then
she
act
was hearing,
upon.
Yeah. I think the prosecution is trying to make it seem like she was faking that. Trying to poke holes in that story.
So hard when it's the thought that someone had in their mind. There is no proof either way. It is her word.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, like I said before, it does seem like they are trying to make the ex-husband out to seem negligent and take partial blame here.
Absolutely. The more I'm finding out, there's so many things that he could have done or times he should have intervened.
Seems like he was pretty checked out of the situation.
Yeah. And just maybe letting her take care of it herself. That's not
I don't know. I know. We'll know more. I feel like we could keep doing some updates on this as the trial continues.
Yeah.
And then eventually when they reach a verdict, we can report on that. But that's just, this was the first week of the trial. I feel like it could be hard to reach a unanimous consensus.
You could have a hung jury.
Yeah.
And then
it's just terrible.
I can't remember where that goes. Like, if you have a hung jury and a mistrial, does she just get acquitted? No.
No.
I can't remember.
I think, I don't know. I wonder if she would just that would, like, send her to a mental health facility. Yeah, institution. I feel like she will likely be institutionalized for her.
Which might be best.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that one's a dark
terrible.
one.
Very dark, yeah. I also did some research about how common postpartum psychosis is, and it's 1 to 2 out of every 1,000 women, which is
that's common.
Actually not that uncommon.
Gosh, yeah. Okay, there's like around 300 million people in the United States, so approximately 50% are women, 150 million, 1 in 1,000. So then 150 million, you have to take that down because it's like mothers. But so, oh wow.
Yeah, I know postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression are way more common than that, but reaching the level of psychosis is more rare, but not as rare as I thought.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Also, you and I have talked about, and we'll talk about this probably a lot because we're in the thick of childbearing and child rearing years, so it's on our minds. But I don't know how any woman isn't depressed after having a baby because all of the coping mechanisms are taken away from you. We talked about this in the 8 Dimensions of Wellness last episode or the one before. You can't exercise normally. You can't you have an infant that requires your body, like especially if you're breastfeeding. And so you actually can't just like leave for 3 hours and go hang out with your girlfriends. It's like you're breastfeeding, and so your milk comes in and you're like engorged. And anyways, there's all these logistics that it's like you feel like you are trapped slightly. And that's not to say that it doesn't dissipate over the months and then you come to really love. And I have really come to love and absolutely cherish my children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gotten over it. But it's brutal. It really can be so brutal at the beginning.
Why is it like you give birth and then suddenly you're training to be like in the like a Marine or something? Like it's like you're being tortured with lack of sleep.
Yeah.
You're constantly hearing crying.
Yes.
You're like
crying is so
that's
torturous.
like the torture method that they use to like train Navy SEALs.
Is
like
it really?
I think so. That's like
to like build mental resilience.
Yeah, that's like a torture method.
It's just gradually. Oh, okay. To withstand torture.
Yeah, that's like a way to. Oh, it's like a torture method that is used to like get information out of people. It's like, okay, just make it stop. I'll tell you. And I'm like, I feel like I would get to the point where I'm like, just chop off my fingers or something. Like I can't listen to the crying. No, like that's so like it's brutal.
Isn't it so beautiful?
I know, but it is
really
like I feel like I'm complaining right now, but I also there's so many parts that
this is a part of the whole.
I know. It's just relevant to what we're talking about.
The whole experience of being a mother and bringing a human life into the world is absolutely brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the opposite is also true, where it's magical and you feel like it's so spiritual. You feel like you're like in league with the universe or God, if you believe in God, or whoever creates us. Like you get to be the vessel that brings life into this world is so magical and mysterious and so incredible. But the flip side of that is very dark.
Yeah.
And it is.
You sacrifice your body and your mind in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And to this day, you and I have talked about like starting this podcast has been really challenging because we've had to like come to terms with the fact that like my brain doesn't work as quickly as it did like 6 years ago before I had my children. I felt like I was quicker and my like grasp of vocabulary, like I had more vocabulary at my use.
So bad. I'm trying to think of words in the moment. Like
I know,
Julie, what's the word?
I know the arsenal of words is just kind of depleted.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of effects, and we could have a whole podcast series on this alone because it is such a vast topic, postpartum and matrescence and what a mother goes through. And people that haven't gone through it just don't understand.
Yeah. I definitely did not understand until I went through it.
Me neither. And it's one of those things where like everyone's experience is going to be totally different. It's like as diverse as a snowflake is, that is how diverse it is to go through child rearing and childbirth. And
I feel like I was so not uninterested, but I just had an idea of what postpartum and having a newborn would look like. But I'm so interested in every single one of my friends like telling me about their birth story, and everyone's story is so different, and like how they coped with everything postpartum. And
those are our war stories.
Yeah, no, it's once you go through it, you totally see mothers and just out in the world. I'm at the grocery store, I see someone with multiple children. I'm like, you are doing something so hard.
I think that all the time. I'm just like, especially if I see whatever number of children, but like 2 kids in tow, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I know how many minutes, hours it took you to get everyone's shoes tied, like get their hair done, and like make sure that they had breakfast and wipe their butts and their noses and their
and then the anxiety of being in public with them and not knowing how your kids are going to act. And it's hard. It's so much harder than I ever expected. But
me too.
Anyways, that's just what's really sad about this case is she was begging for help. And
I actually
she
have a lot of compassion for her.
I know.
I know it's a crazy case, but
I know. I think some people are of the mind that she is faking it, but just seeing, I don't. Just knowing anyone, even without mental health problems, taking those medications, like something is going to happen to you. Like that, is, your mind is not able to.
She was treated like a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Or treating herself like a guinea pig too, but Oh my gosh.
She was looking for any solution to,
I've
to
had
help.
the opportunity to observe some people really close to me go through just switching medication after medication, and like the highs and the lows just getting like greater and greater. The distance between your highs and lows is really scary. And I've seen people go through that like up close.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why I have so much compassion for this woman. Because also, why would you fake that just to get away with murdering your children and then yourself? Like, no, there's clearly something wrong there.
I know she
Her
tried.
cries for help
Yes.
were consistent
Yeah.
and many. And she didn't have someone advocating for her. I'm also kind of curious if she had friends and like her parents that she confided in. Maybe she didn't. Maybe it was just
I
her
think
husband.
it sounds like at some point she did tell her mom about the intrusive thoughts. But
Yeah.
it's hard to know, like, okay, you're going through postpartum, like,
Yeah. And
how
intrusive
serious
thoughts
to take that.
are
Yeah.
pretty, unfortunately, par for the course.
Yeah, and I wonder if she was just saying, like, I don't know how detailed she was about what, in specific, what the voices were telling her.
When I
don't know.
talked to my mom about postpartum, I stayed pretty vague. It was with my girlfriends who were going through it at the same time that I got really specific with. So, you know, if this scenario was, if I'm in this scenario, my mom wouldn't know hardly anything. Or if she did know things, it would be bits and pieces here and there. And a lot of times I try to like laugh it off with my mom so that she's not concerned about me. Like, I don't want her to be worried.
Yeah.
And maybe that's this woman. Maybe I'm projecting, but like I personally try to be really tough so that people around me don't feel like they have to worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's problematic.
Yeah.
I've learned that I have to be a little bit more honest. But it's really hard. This is actually an interesting topic to me. How honest should you be with people about how you're doing? Because you don't want to over inflate the situation you're going through and like raise the red flag and say like, oh my gosh, I need to be like put in a mental institution. But also you don't want to underestimate what I'm not even describing this very well. I don't want to overinflate or underinflate what I'm going through. I want to be as accurate as I can be, but that's really challenging.
Yeah.
When it's your own head.
It's hard to, what was it that they said about Bryan Kohberger, to know your own thoughts?
Oh
like,
my gosh, yeah, that's true. She said like he's incapable of introspection, which that's not what's happening here. I'm highly capable of introspection, almost to a like paralyzing degree where I'm like thinking through like, if I tell Jordan that I had this thought, is he going to freak out? And then is he going to spiral? And like, am I going to worry him for no good reason?
Yeah.
And also, as a woman, our hormone cycle is 28 to 40 days long. So it's like, depending on what part of my cycle I'm in, am I like
that's true.
tripping?
Yeah, that's so true.
Can I really trust my own intuition right now? Or should I just wait a week, you know?
Yeah.
Ugh, it's so hard.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that freaking meme that was going around probably years ago. My pop culture references are usually a year behind, but it's like, oh, how I love being a woman. Do you remember that one, that soundbite that was going around? I'm like, what the freak is that from? Because it's really hard to be a woman. And I got to know what movie that's from and why they said that.
I actually don't know where that reference is from.
But also being a man and having to deal with the fluctuating emotions of the woman that you are with. I don't envy that either.
Maybe we should cut that part out. I don't know.
Oh,
I feel
really?
like we're starting to get into like, no, I don't know. I'm just kind of joking. But
too personal?
No, not too personal, but it could be like, anyone listening could be like, we're being like women haters because we're like, we can't make decisions for ourselves on our period. That's why women can't be president.
No, that's false. But that's
kidding.
why you need a smart cabinet of people that are not yes people. Like Abraham Lincoln, there's a book called Team of Rivals. He found a cabinet filled with people that had differing opinions on purpose because he's actually a good president. And he wanted to hear all their differing opinions so that then he could, from the collective, make the decision with really good information. Anyways, I feel like a woman president would be fabulous because not every woman, but having a woman that is a wonderful person become president would be really good, because I would hope that she would choose people with very different opinions to kind of temper her thoughts and say, okay, this collective difference of opinions, let's go from there.
Agreed.
Sorry, we are going on so many tangents.
Yeah,
but should we end it?
Yeah, we're just.
Should we send it?
Yeah.
Full send.
End it and send it.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in and listening.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next episode, which is going to be, we've renamed our deep dives Dark Paths. We're going to be leading you down dark paths.
And it's like path, like short for pathological.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
And it's also a path that you walk down.
Yes. Important to explain the joke as.
Dang it.
As always.
Do you think they're going to get that the path is because of pathological?
I think that's a great. I'm just kidding.
You're so mean.
I'm just kidding.
You're just like really like jumping on my vulnerability. Okay. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.